Hello guys, welcome to another video. Tensura X Fate, When the Time Reincarnated as Human by Vericishi. Chapter 12 Grail War Preparation Rin's POV Saturday evening. Another week has passed, and here I am, still grappling with the never-ending responsibilities that come with being a mage and, of course, a high school student. You'd think things would slow down eventually, but no, if anything, the pace is picking up. The announcement of the upcoming war, supposedly set for 2017, has now been pushed to 2019 right in the middle of my midterm exams. Great, just great. As if life wasn't already enough of a pain. I'm standing in the middle of the Tasaka Estate's training ground, my eyes scanning the darkening sky. The sun has already dipped below the horizon, and the last light of the day is quickly fading, leaving a cold, eerie glow in its wake. It's the perfect setting for a late-night training session. I tighten my grip on the pendant hanging from my neck, feeling the familiar rush of mana as it surges through my veins. Artemis! I call out, my voice echoing in the night air. A sharp cry answers me from above, and I catch sight of Artemis swooping down from the trees in her falcon form. She's been staying in this form for a while now, much to my annoyance. It's not like she can do much in the form of a bird, but I suppose she likes the way it looks. I smirk as I watch her circle above me, her sharp eyes glinting in the darkness. What's the matter, Artemis? Afraid I'll catch you tonight? Artemis POV catch me, ha, this girl really thinks she's got what it takes tonight. I let out a playful chirp, my wings beating rapidly as I ascend higher into the night sky. The cool wind ruffles my feathers, and I relish the sensation. Rin might think she's in control here, but I know better. She's just a little too confident tonight, and I can't wait to knock her down a peg or two. But I've got to admit, the girl's got spirit. I watch as she channels her mana, her hands glowing with a faint blue light. She's gearing up for something big, and I know I've got to stay one step ahead. As Rin raises her hand, I sense the surge of magic, and with a quick flap of my wings, I dive, narrowly avoiding the energy blast that crackles through the air where I just was. Nice try, Rin, but you're going to have to do better than that. I spot an opportunity and seize it, folding my wings and plummeting toward the ground, just as Rin starts to track my movement. At the last possible second, I shift forms, my falcon body dissolving into a shadowy mist before reforming as a sleek black cat. I land gracefully on the ground, tail flicking behind me as I peer up at Rin with bright, mischievous eyes. Rin's POV I blink, momentarily stunned as Artemis suddenly disappears from the sky. My eyes narrow when I spot her on the ground, now a black cat with a smug look on her face. That little. You're not getting away that easily, I shout, summoning another burst of mana. This time, I pour more power into it, my hands crackling with energy as I release a barrage of spells toward her. Artemis simply sits there, completely unbothered, until the last second when she springs into action. She dodges each spell with an agility that's downright infuriating, weaving between the attacks like it's nothing more than a game. I grit my teeth, feeling my frustration mount. Artemis is fast, too fast. I can feel my patience wearing thin, but there's no way I'm letting her win this round. As she sprints across the training ground, I close the distance between us, pushing my speed to the limit. My feet pound against the earth, the cool night air whipping past my face. Just when I think I've got her, she shifts again, her feline form melting away into her human one. Artemis rises to her full height, a smirk playing on her lips as she waves her hand. The ground beneath my feet suddenly turns to liquid, and I feel myself sinking into the mud, the cold, wet earth closing around my legs. Artemis, I shout, my voice filled with a mix of anger and disbelief. She just laughs, crossing her arms over her chest as she watches me sink deeper. What's wrong, Rin? Having a bit of trouble? I struggle against the thick mud, my hands glowing with magic as I attempt to pull myself free. The more I struggle, the more it seems to pull me down, and I can feel my temper flaring up. Artemis is definitely enjoying this a little too much. Before I can finish my sentence, I focus my mana, summoning a spatial magecraft spell. With a burst of energy, I teleport myself out of the mud, reappearing a few feet away on solid ground. I spin around, glaring at Artemis, who is still standing there with that infuriating smirk on her face. Artemis POV, there she is, fiery as ever, just how I like her. I watch as Rin escapes my little mud trap, her expression a mix of irritation and determination. She's giving it her all tonight, and I've got to admit, it's kind of cute watching her get so worked up. But I'm not going to make it easy for her. Not bad, Rin, I say with a playful grin. but you're going to have to do better than that if you want to catch me. Her eyes flash with defiance, and I can see the wheels turning in her head as she plans her next move. She's not going to let me off easy, and that's exactly what I was hoping for. With a flick of my wrist, I summon a wall of earth between us, the ground rumbling as the stone rises up to block her path. It's nothing fancy, just enough to slow her down for a moment. But Rin's quick to react, her hands glowing with blue light as she channels another spell. The earth wall shatters under her attack, sending shards of rock flying in all directions. Oh, she's not playing around tonight. Maybe I've pushed her a bit too far? Nah. I shift back into my falcon form, taking to the sky once more. I can hear Rin muttering something under her breath. Probably cursing me out. But I don't stick around to listen. Instead, I circle above her, keeping just out of reach as she tries to follow me with her eyes. Rin's pav, I've had enough of this game. Artemis might think she's got the upper hand, but I'm not about to let her get away with it. She's been taunting me all night, and I'm done playing nice. My hands clench into fists, and I gather every ounce of mana I have left, focusing it into a single, powerful spell. Got you now, I whisper to myself, my voice laced with determination. I release the spell, sending a wave of energy shooting toward Artemis. This time, it's faster, stronger, and more precise. There's no way she's dodging this one. But just as the energy is about to hit her, she shifts again, this time into her human form, and with a swift motion, she raises her hand. The ground beneath me shifts again, but this time, it doesn't turn to mud. Instead, it splits open, forming a chasm right at my feet. I barely have time to react before I'm falling, the world tilting around me as I plummet into the darkness below. For a split second, I think Artemis has finally won, but then I feel the familiar tug of my teleportation spell, and in an instant, I'm back on solid ground, panting and slightly disoriented. Artemis lands gracefully a few feet away, her arms crossed and that annoying smirk still on her face. You really need to work on your timing, Rin. That was close. I can't help but glare at her, my frustration boiling over. You little. Before I can finish my sentence, I feel a presence behind me, and I whirl around to find Satoru standing there, his phone in hand. He's grinning like an idiot, clearly amused by the whole spectacle. Hey, Rin, he says casually, as if this is the most normal thing in the world. Mind if I use your account for a bit? I want to try out some new moves in Honkai Impact. I stare at him, my mouth hanging open in disbelief. Are you serious right now? Satoru just shrugs, completely unfazed by my outburst. What? You're busy anyway, so I figured you wouldn't mind. My eye twitches, and I can feel my patience wearing thin. First Artemis, and now Satoru. I swear, these two are going to be the death of me. With a frustrated huff, I march over to him, snatching the phone out of his hand. If you're going to play on my account, at least ask first, I snap, my voice tinged with exasperation. Satoru just chuckles, raising his hands in mock surrender. Okay, I'll ask next time. Sheesh, you're really on edge tonight, huh? I narrow my eyes at him, my irritation clear. Gee, I wonder why. Artemis Pavo, this is too good. I watch the siblings squabble with amusement, thoroughly enjoying the sight of Rin getting all worked up. She's always so fiery, so passionate, and it's just too easy to get under her skin. I shift back into my falcon form, perching on a nearby tree branch as I observe the scene from above. Maybe I should ease up on her. Nah, where's the fun in that? Rin's pav, I finally managed to wrestle my phone back from Satoru, shooting him a glare that could melt steel. He just grins, clearly enjoying himself far too much. I turn my attention back to Artemis, who is now perched on a tree branch, looking down at us with those sharp, gleaming eyes. I'm not done with you yet, Artemis, I mutter under my breath, determination flaring up inside me once more. I've still got some fight left in me, and there's no way I'm letting her get away with that smug attitude. But as I prepare to launch another spell, I notice the time on my phone. It's getting late, too late to be out here still training. With a frustrated sigh, I lower my hand, the mana fading from my fingers. Fine, you win this round, I grumble, crossing my arms over my chest, but don't think you'll get away with it next time. Artemis lets out a soft chirp, almost as if she's laughing at me. I roll my eyes, turning away from her and heading back toward the house. Satoru falls into step beside me, still looking far too pleased with himself. You're not going to let her get away with that, are you? He asks, a teasing edge to his voice. I shoot him a sidelong glance, a small smirk tugging at the corner of my lips. Of course not. Next time, she's going down. As we make our way back to the house, I can't help but feel a small sense of satisfaction. Sure, tonight didn't go exactly as planned, but I'm not giving up. Artemis might have the upper hand for now, but I'll catch her eventually. And when I do, she's in for a world of trouble. Chapter 13. Teasing Rin's pav. As we make our way back to the house, the adrenaline from the training session slowly fades, leaving me with that familiar sense of exhaustion. Satoru's footsteps are soft beside me, but I can practically feel the smugness radiating off him. He's been like that ever since I dragged him into my magecraft training, always quick to make a joke or poke fun at something I take seriously. I glance at him, still annoyed from earlier, but before I can say anything, he breaks the silence. So, Rin, he starts, a teasing lilt in his voice, what are you planning to do with all those spells you've been working on? You've got something big in the works, right? A new summoning, maybe? I roll my eyes, trying to brush off his words, but he's not done. What's the chant for summoning a heroic spirit again? You've got that down, right? He's grinning now, and I can already tell he's gearing up to make fun of it. I sigh, knowing he won't drop the topic until I give him an answer. Yeah, I've been practicing it, I admit reluctantly. It's not just about the words, though, it's the intention, the mana flow, everything has to be perfect. Sure, Satoru says, waving his hand dismissively. But what's the actual chant? Come on, recite it for me. I want to hear how dramatic it is. I glare at him, but there's no escaping this one. With a resigned sigh, I stop walking and turn to face him. Fine, but don't laugh, I warn him, knowing full well that he's going to do exactly that. Clearing my throat, I recite the chant in a clear, steady voice. Fill, 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 fill. Let each be turned over 5 times, simply breaking asunder the fulfilled time. Let silver and steel be the essence. Let stone and the Archduke of Contracts be the foundation. Let my great master Schweinord be the ancestor. Let rise a wall against the wind that shall fall. Let the 4 cardinal gates close. Let the 3-forked road from the crown reaching unto the kingdom rotate. I pause, casting a glance at Satoru, who's trying, and failing, to keep a straight face. My eye twitches, but I continue, determined to finish the chant despite his obvious amusement. I shall declare here and now. Your flesh shall serve under me, and my fate shall be with your sword. Submit to the beckoning of the Holy Grail. If you will accede to this will and reason, then answer my call. I make my oath here. I am that person who is to become the virtue of all heaven. I am that person who is covered with the evil of all Hades. You, 7 heavens clad in 3 words of power, arrive from the ring of deterrence, O keeper of the balance. The moment I finish, Satoru bursts out laughing, the sound echoing through the night. Oh man, wow, that's something else, Rin. You seriously say all that? No wonder you're so stressed all the time? I grit my teeth, trying to keep my cool. It's not just about the words, you idiot. There's power in the chant, in the way it's recited. It's a ritual that requires precision. Satoru wipes a tear from his eye, still grinning. I get it, but seriously, Rin, don't you think it's a little over the top? I mean, I get the whole dramatic flair, but come on, you could probably cut that down to, like, 3 lines. I huff, crossing my arms over my chest. It's not like I wrote it, it's tradition, okay? You can't just go around making up your own summoning chants. Why not? He says, suddenly looking thoughtful. If it's all about intention and mana, then the words themselves don't matter as much as the focus, right? I blink at him, caught off guard by the serious tone. Well, yeah, but... Then how about this? He interrupts, raising his hand as if about to recite something. Let me give it a shot. Something more in line with, I dunno, self-identity or Taoist philosophy. Balance, you know, yin and yang. How's this for a chant? He closes his eyes, taking a deep breath before beginning in a solemn, almost theatrical voice. I am the shadow and the light, the emptiness and the fullness. With each breath, I draw in the power of the heavens and earth, and with each exhale, I release my will upon the world. From the stillness of the void, I summon forth the essence of the warrior, bound not by time, but by the eternal cycle of balance. As yin meets yang, as light meets darkness, I call upon the force that bridges the realms. Come forth, heroic spirit, and take your place in the eternal dance of creation and destruction. When he finishes, he opens his eyes and looks at me expectantly, a smirk tugging at the corners of his lips. So, how was that? I stare at him, my mouth slightly open in disbelief. That was, actually kind of impressive, I admit, though I hate to say it. But it's way too philosophical. You can't just summon a heroic spirit with a chant like that. It lacks the proper ritual structure and formality. Hey, you never know, he says with a shrug, clearly enjoying himself. Maybe the heroic spirits appreciate a little bit of deep thought. Besides, it's more personal, right? A reflection of one's own identity and beliefs. I roll my eyes, though I can't help but crack a small smile. You really are impossible, you know that? Of course, he replies, grinning like a Cheshire cat, but you love me anyway. Yeah, I mutter, turning away to hide the blush creeping up my cheeks. Let's just get back inside. We've got a lot of work to do if we're going to be ready for the war in 2019. As we walk back toward the house, I can't help but think about Satoru's chant. Sure, it was completely impractical, but there was something oddly poetic about it. Maybe there's more to summoning than just following the rules and reciting the traditional incantations. Maybe, just maybe, there's room for a little bit of personal expression in magecraft after all. But there's no way I'm letting Satoru know I'm thinking that. He'd never let me live it down.